Stampers, it's Linda Schmidt with Stampin' with the Hounds. Today I have a fun technique. It is called the weathered wood, and there's a couple, well, there's several variations that you can do on this. One is the technique itself, which is just the weathered wood, where you're taking a piece of cardstock and you're making these half-inch score lines and then swiping ink pads over it. And that's the weathered wood part of it. The other part is then kicking it up a step and then using your stencils to dry emboss and then kind of fill in with some watercolor pencils and a blender pen. So that's another way to do it. And if you don't have stencils, because this is kind of neat seeing how you can dry emboss with your stencils. If you don't have stencils, you can still do the same thing. I just have to find a sample here. With your embossing folders. So if you have some embossing folders, you can do the same thing and just use that instead of a stencil. So today I am going to show you how to do the weathered wood part of it, and then we're also going to emboss with the stencils. So these are just this is for my class that I've got coming up next Tuesday. They're going to be making this one. It's just a kind of a fun winter one. And then there also will do another one with the tree stencil. And then this Words of Cheer kind of fun die cut. And then some of the new bling. And then again, this one, before I did any of the scoring, I stamped my leaves. And then I did my score line. So that's another way too of doing this background. And then using the tree stencil in the background for that one. And then the other one they're going to make is this one. So I thought I would get away from the Christmas and Thanksgiving and just use another little flower card. And they're going to be doing some of the gilded leafing too, which I thought would be kind of fun. So, and then here's some other ones I just did just to show you, because I always love, once I make a card, I do like a bazillion of them. This one I used an embossing folder to get that. You can see that. So pretty. And then I used my watercolor pencils to kind of fill in and color. This was one I had on my Instagram. Everybody really liked this one. This one had lots of bling with it. This uses the Simon Says Stamps Painted Leaves stamp set, and then the Stampin' Up stencil in the background. So it's kind of a fun one. And then these are just some other ones I've done. I've kind of posted a lot of these on my Facebook or my Instagram, so you can always check those out. Stampin' with the Hounds. And then, so let's get started. Get some of these out of the way. So we're going to do a variation of this one today, just because since I was doing all of my gilded leafing this morning, I had some parts left over, so I'm just going to use up some of these pieces to do it. So supplies that you need are your scoring tool, and then a neutral like white or vanilla, either a quarter sheet of cardstock, or so this is 4 by 5 1/4. You can also, depending on how you want your lines going, so since we're doing it 1/2 inch increments, I like to keep it at 4, so then that way I won't have any off boards, I guess. They're all going to be even. So these are at every 1/2 inch I'm scoring. So now that's with the lines going vertical. If you want to do horizontal, because this is would end up being, it would be a little uneven, I would then trim this to 3 3/4 by 5, and then I could go across at 1/2 inch, and so then the lines would be going the other way. So that's another way of doing it. So now you've got your deboss side and the emboss side. So I want to use the side where the edges are up facing you. Okay. So that's all the scoring that you need to do. So that can be put away. Then you want to select some ink pads that are neutral, like very light, like all of your crumb cake, gray granite, smoky slate. I've been using Sahara Sand. On today's card, I'm going to do Gray Granite as my lightest color. Then you want like a blue or a green, but it has to be really, really light. So I'm going to do Soft Sea Foam. The other ones that I've done are Pool Party, Mint Macaroon, and I think those are the main ones I tend to use. Oh, I've also done Balmy Blue, but it's a little darker because I had inked my ink pad, so it came out pretty dark. But I've been tending to lean towards the Mint Macaroon and the Soft Sea Foam and the Pool Party. And that's just to kind of give it that treated wood look, so you kind of got that greenish in there. And then you want a dark, and so I'm doing early espresso on this one just because I wanted it to be a little bit cooler colors. The other one that I tend to go towards is the soft suede for my darkest one. I tend to use that one quite a bit. So we're going to start with the lightest color, and I like to grab my silicone mat, and it's just it helps kind of grip the cardstock, plus it doesn't get my my glass media mat all inky either. So I'm going to take the Gray Granite, and this is where you probably want to practice a little bit, for example, just to see how dark your ink pad is. You know, so if it's super, super juicy, you know, you kind of want to test it and see, because we're basically swiping the ink pad onto the cardstock. So I'm going to start kind of at the very top here, and I'm dragging it down and then kind of moving over so that I'm getting all of these raised lines. Then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to do the same thing because I want this kind of weathered look at the top. And then I want to make sure all of my, so I kind of got a little heavy-handed there, but that's okay. All right. So that's all with the first color. Then you're going to go to your blue or your light, light, light green. And I want to just double check because I had re-inked this the other day. So, okay, we're a lot better. I just want to make sure I'm not. And again, this is just really light. It's probably not going to pick up on camera because it's so light green, but it's just kind of giving that grainy look to it, the weathered look. Now, the next part, so you can leave it as is and then go and add your darker color if you don't want to do any of the stenciling or the dry embossing. So then you would go on and swipe with this darkest color, and then that would be how I got this background. But since I want to stencil, let's see here. I was thinking, I've been doing the tree one quite a bit. So I'm thinking I'm going to do the leaf one. So what I'm going to do is you are going to flip this over, and your stencil is going to be attached. I'm just lining it up here so that I'm not, so that you're embossing on the back side of it. And what you will need to be able to do this is, so I have the Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting machine, and with that it came with the platform. It came with this kind of rubber embossing mat, and then it came with an embossing plate. So that is what you need to be able to dry emboss. I know Sizzix used to sell, and Stampin' Up! Used to sell it, and I think I still have them. They were, it was a white, yeah, here. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these, and I don't know if we're ever gonna, it was the Big Shot embossing mats. So again, it was this white impressions plate, which this is pretty similar to this one already. And then it came with a really thin rubbery mat, and then this darker gray one. So that would work too, if you still have those. So what you're going to do is you'll place your platform, then this mat, And because I don't want ink getting on my mat here, I'm just putting a piece of scratch paper. And then again, ink side down. And I want to place this, and I'm just going to kind of tape it in place so that it doesn't move on me while I run it through the machine. And then you place this embossing mat on top. So that's your sandwich. And I'm going to run this through my machine off camera here. Okay. So now you're like, why did you do it upside down? So this is the raised side, but like I said, I wanted the debossed side on my front, okay? So move that aside. Okay, then the next part is you're going to take some watercolor pencils, and I am looking for one of my blender pens. Okay, so I'm choosing, I was going to try a couple of colors. I was going to do Crushed Curry and Cajun Craze. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the side of the pencil, and I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit so you can see this, if it's letting me. Okay. And I'm just going over, and it's going to be pretty light, because I'm just kind of coloring in those debossed sides. And then we'll go back and color in, or fill it in with the blender pen. And then I'm going to go with this other color. I'm going to do a kind of a combination here and just see. Something like that. Okay. Then I'll take my blender pen. I probably do need to, excuse me while I get my cheaters on. Definitely can tell I'm getting old. I can't see. Okay, and then we're just going to start coloring in. This one may have worked as well. And you can always go back and add a little bit more of the pencil if you're not, it's not picking up enough color. This one may not have worked as well as I was envisioning. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Sorry. Before you do the watercolor pencil, you need to do this. Sorry. So, see, I screwed up. So after you dry emboss, then go ahead and do, this way you can see what you're doing. Do your darkest ink. Okay, now this should work a little better because now I can see what I'm doing. Now you'll be able to pick up some of this color. I'm just going to kind of filling in a little bit here. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay. Okay, now kind of color. And you can tell, like I said, I'm just kind of being a little, I'm just scribbling. Add a little bit more color. And this part, like I said, you don't have to do this part of it if you don't want to. You can just, again, just add that darkest color ink just so it picks up the stencil lines, and you could just call it good and it would be perfectly fine. I just wanted to add a little bit of color. And then I'm excited this week. It's on Tuesday and Wednesday. Stampin' Up! Is having a stamp sale on like ink pads, dies, and cardstock. So perfect time to stock up. I know I've got, like I said, this is an older style ink pad on my early espresso, and that's like a color that I always like to have multiple. There's certain colors I like to have multiples of, especially for classes when I need multiple ink pads. It's kind of nice to, there. So now that has it all kind of colored in that background. And again, if you want, you can kind of go back with, so I'm going to go back with my lighter color, which was the, what was it, gray granite. And oh, before I do that, because I don't want to pick that up, everything, I'm just going to go back and just add a little bit, just to kind of mute some of those colors. Okay. So now that is all done. And again, if you wanted to, you could do some splatter. You can take some of your, like the shimmer spray, which maybe I will add a little. You can always, let's add a little shimmer. Always good to have a little bit of bling, a little bit of shimmer. Okay. So now there's that. I don't know if the camera picks that up or not, but it's a slight, it's got a little bit of a shimmer to there. Okay, so now we're getting ready to assemble our card. So let's do, let's see here, where did I put that? Oh, let's see a little bit better here. So I had some extra pieces left over, and I was thinking, this is designed in my head. I had some extra die cuts. I've got a tray by my desk that has like all my extra die cutting pieces. And so I'm wondering, I did that, and that. Okay, I think we'll just call that good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card. I'm just using the Tombow multi-purpose glue. And then we'll attach this onto a top folding Cajun Craze. This is just an A2, so 5.5 by 4.25. And then this was our cork paper. I just had some extra rectangular stitched pieces left over, so I thought, well, might as well use it up. So we'll just add this on. And I'll kind of just place this. Yay, so make sure I'm straight. That's what I like about this Tombow glue, the multi-purpose glue, because I can move stuff around a little bit before it completely dries on me. And then I had earlier, hopefully this will come off for me, I had attached, I made this a sticker, so I'm just going to remove the backing off of it. Easier said than done sometimes. I don't know if it's going to. I think I may just have to do the glue. I think when I did this, I ran it through the die cutting machine several times, and so I think I really, really pressed it into the paper, so it doesn't want to release as easily as normally as it does. There it goes. There's one. But yeah, the sticker sheets are kind of nice to use on these intricate die cuts. But they're also kind of tricky to remove sometimes. That off. And this gilded leafing, that's why I said when I do this gilded leafing, I try and make several things because it is so messy. And I thought, well, I have it out. I might as well make a bunch of things. So, boy, this really does not want to come off. Okay, well, we may just add some glue. I got most of it. Okay, what doesn't have glue on it? I think here, we'll just put a little bit of glue. We'll make it work. Okay. We'll just place that there. And I'm just going to remove some of this extra pieces. That looks good. Boy, there's some days I feel like I'm all thumbs. There we go. Okay. So there's that. And then I thought I would just make this a quick thank you card. So I am just going to ink up. This is from the Nature's Harvest. And so this is the dies that I used. And then this is the coordinating stamp set. So it's got a thank you in it. And it also has this nice little shape that, oh gosh. Let's see if I can do this. Sorry, I may have to do this off camera so I'm not stamping crooked. Haha, pretty good. Okay, and then we're going to glue these, and I always like to cut 3 of them, stamp on one, and then I just layer the other 2 onto the back just to build dimension. And it's another great way of using up cardstock scraps. I don't know if you're like me, but I've got bins and bins of scrap paper. So anytime I can use them up, I do. Okay, so then that's all layered together. And then I'm going to put that kind of off to the side. And then I'll have some room where we'll add some bling. Tie in. Whoops, not upside down. So I think I'll place that down here. And then I can add, clean up my desk a little bit here. I got stuff all over. And then what I like to do, and I just did this on this card, I colored in this white paper with my Stampin' Blend. So I'm going to use the light crumb cake, and I'm just going over my vanilla cardstock, and it just adds a little bit more color to it. I just thought that was kind of a fun. So if you're in a crunch and you don't have like crumb cake paper, you can take your Stampin' Blends and color your cardstocks. I thought that was kind of a neat little trick there. Okay, and then let's add some bling. Put it this way before I lose it. So I thought I would put on, okay, that will do a few. I know these are like for, I got these off Amazon, but they came with this handy little pick tool and then all these little gems. I think they're for nails, but it is working for me. For card making, because it's nice to have so the only thing is though they don't have adhesive on the back, so you do have to use, I'm just using the glossy accents from Ranger, which is a great glue. It doesn't clog, which I love, not having that happen. Okay, and then we'll just do a couple there. Then I'm thinking, and it's nice because then you can kind of play around with how you want your placement. Because I think this is probably too yellow. Let's see what it looks like on there. Yeah, that's too yellow. Okay, I'm thinking maybe another one of these. And this is always a fun part. Like, where do I put it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Okay, then all you're going to do is then pick this up, add a little bit of glue, and it comes out really fine, which is nice, and then just place the rhinestone on top of it. And then you just kind of work your way through. And it dries really fast, which is nice. But yeah, this little pick tool is it's pretty handy. Oops, enough glue. And then one more. Alright, and then the inside of the card, I'm just going to put a quarter sheet of vanilla cardstock, just because I like to have a neutral color on the inside of my card. And then, because we don't want to have a naked card, let's do one of these little from the stamp set, and we'll ink that in. What do I want to do? Maybe we'll do the Cajun Craze. Just to tie in the flowers. So I'll just add that to the inside. And that's it. So that is your weathered wood, and then embossing with your stencils. So kind of a fun technique. And like I said, there's the ideas, obviously the way I've been going through them. It's just a fun way to use up supplies that you have and use them in different ways. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Bye-bye.